Oh, my favorite part about the job? London's great, isn't it? Hello everybody and welcome back to a man whose bedroom lights loosely resemble a hot and cold tap. My name is Edinger, and can you believe it? What is this? 3 times in a row? We're doing a Reddit video. Wow. I've got a lot of really big videos coming up on the pipeline that I've been spending a lot of time on. If you've seen previous big ones that I've worked on, you'll know those take a little bit of time. So doing these in between. Also got a UK US coming up, so please subscribe to make sure you get that one next Sunday. It's actually similar to today's AskReddit thread, which is what are some subtle red flags at a job interview that say working here would suck? Now, as someone who's had about 10 or 11 different jobs in my life, well, oh boy. All right, first red flag we have here is I brought up a company's awful Glassdoor reviews and they got so mad they ended the interview. Well, I guess I dodged that bullet. Yeah, that is really strange because one of the most popular questions to ask an interviewer is, well, why did the previous person leave? Like, why am I even needing to apply for this position? If they could meet that question with like anger and like, oh, I can't believe you did your research on our company, you definitely did dodge a bullet. I mean, in fact, after they kicked you out of the interview, I would have just turned around and gone, you know what? Jim 69420 was right. You guys cannot handle criticism. When you ask, what do you like about working here? And the interviewer talks about the location of the job. It's a great place to live. Instead of the actual job. That is a very good flag because it's not like he's directly saying anything, but oh my God, big ol' signal. Oh, my favorite part about the job? London's great, isn't it? I didn't know it at the time, but you'll be wearing 4 hats was a sign that they were going to give me the work of 4 positions and the wage of 1. I didn't last there a year before I left, and now I won't even finish reading job ads that include that line. Oh my God, the amount of times that I've applied to places where they're like, oh, you know, we just have a startup atmosphere, and I was like, didn't you guys get founded like 5 years ago? And they're like, oh yeah, but we still have that startup atmosphere. You gotta wear lots of hats. Just hire someone to do the marketing and the content creation. And there's at one point I remember I had 4 genuine jobs, but then again, it was a startup where there were only 3 employees in London. So it was like a CFO, a CEO, and I was actually the head of marketing. That's like the most intense job I ever had because I had to do everything and I was not prepared for that either way. Yeah, definitely a red flag if you're not up for working 4 jobs for the price of 1. You really shouldn't have to do that, but hey. I once turned down a job offer because they mentioned that the previous person in the position had quit after a few months. Most of the people I interviewed with seemed stressed out. Yeah, that is yet again, it's quite a flag where you're like, okay, something doesn't quite sit right. My number 1 question is, do you like the culture of the people that you're working with? Like, not, are you racist? But more like, do you enjoy like working with the people you work with? Because for me, even if you're doing a grueling job, if you work with nice people, it just makes the job so much nicer. Like you're not actually working, which, you know, I had a job once where I played Smash Bros all the time. I had another one where I played table tennis all the time. I got really good. I use the Chinese hand grip. I'm pretty good at that. But yeah, definitely big flag there. We only want the best of the best. Me. How much are you paying? Them. Minimum wage. Sir, this is Arby's. You are required to wear clothing that has a company logo. You must purchase it yourself from the company. Big flag, big flag. It sounds like a bit of a Ponzi scheme there. Almost like you don't even know if you're gonna get the job. They're like, yes, but you must first purchase this shirt. I worked at a couple different retail jobs where I was not provided a uniform. I was just told to wear clothes that would fit the style of company. Now, normally that was fine because I liked wearing clothes of a couple companies that I worked for. It was just the one time, fair enough to the manager. He told me that my shoes did not fit the brand and I was never allowed to wear them again. They looked like this. I thought it was really cool. They were like see-through shoes. So that meant whatever socks I was wearing, you could see. If you could see through all the sweat because they just fogged up from my sweaty feet. Nobody bought anything from me. I couldn't upsell anything. Always ask the interviewer about the last person who worked the position you were interviewing for. That's what I just said. How long they worked and why they left. Their answers can be very telling. Yes, 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 yes. Not a necessarily red flag, but can lead to some. You'll get full-time hours, but won't be full-time, aka we'll do everything in our power to avoid giving you the benefits, even though we have you working more than 40 hours a week. Yeah, I don't know how legal that one is, but I know a very popular practice where I'm from that I was subject to many times was just scheduling your workers 35 hours a week, all of them, so that way you don't have to pay benefits to anyone except you're maximizing the benefits to you, the company. That type of stuff should be penalized. Like, obviously we have this thing in place so that, you know, workers get benefits working full time, but then forcing workers to work just under so you can avoid that, that should be called out and penalized incredibly so. Because it's horrible, okay? Like I said, 5 years working at that restaurant, never made a single freaking minute of holiday. Not even unpaid. I once showed up for an interview and the manager wasn't there that day. No one called to let me know. Okay, that's a big flag, but it continues. The assistant manager was not apologetic for the scheduling issue at all. She was literally just like, oh, she's not here today, in a tone that suggested I should somehow already know that. She said they would call me to reschedule sometime next week. I told her I was currently unavailable Monday to Wednesday, but could come in anytime Thursday to Friday. She said if I couldn't make time for the interview, I probably wouldn't be a good fit. Oh my God. I said, okay. I went into my other interviews and ended up working elsewhere. Oh my God, you'd think that would be the end of it. But there's more. But both the manager and the assistant manager badmouthed me to a few people in the industry, including one of my friends. Hello? I made time for an interview. You disrespected me by not calling me to let me know that it was canceled. I gave you the times I was available, and that was disrespectful somehow? Yeah, that sounds like an incredibly big red flag. It's so annoying that you, as someone who is like interviewing, have to appear as if like you will drop on the floor and just S every D in the room just to get the job. Like, please, I'm available. Everyone has lives. Like, treat employees and future employees as if they're also human beings that are doing things. Yeah, they're only available Thursday to Friday next week, but they were available. Oh my God, that one makes my blood boil. We don't like clock watchers here. God. We expect everyone to be committed, expecting more work with no extra pay, getting mad at you when you leave at 5, even though your stated hours work at 5. Holy shit. That happens so freaking often in office buildings. I think like 3 out of the 5 office jobs I've had were jobs in which as soon as 6 p.m. rolls around, when we are all scheduled to leave, everyone's just kind of working away and I'm looking around like, guys, I've been like getting ready to leave for 10 minutes now. We are not paid to work after this. And then when I asked someone like, why does no one actually leave? The answer I was given was, oh, I mean, if you feel like you've done enough work for the day, then you can leave at 6. No, that's not how it works. You're paying me to work till 6. It's not like, oh, do you feel like? It's such a horrible system, especially because it feels like everyone's gonna rat you out like, wow, Evan left on time. Yes! Because I'm scheduled to work until 6, all right? This isn't my life path right now. I'm just trying to work, and I also have a life. Oh boy, big red flag. Okay, do not go. No. When you were signing all the forms that they give you, and you were taking your time to read over every document so that you can fully understand what you're getting into, and people come in and start telling you that you don't need to read this and you can just sign here and so on. That happens more often than you think. I actually had to sign some type of form a week or 2 ago because I was filming some shoot for a video you'll see on YouTube in the next 2 or 3 months or so. And as I was reading through it to be like, oh, how are our COVID preparations and yada yada, the guy was like, oh, you could just sign here. And I was like, yeah, I know. When I'm done reading the document. Oh, I know. It's just standard procedure. I'm like, okay, then let me read the document. You know how many times I've actually been burned by signing things that I didn't read? Multiple times. Like, always read the documents. That is a huge flag. Had an online interview with a company a few years ago. Was interviewed by the regional manager. Seemed like a normal interview. Halfway through, he let slip that there were 6 other people from his company watching and listening in, but the software was set up so I could not see or hear them. And he actually got a kick out of telling me this. It was like being on a first date with someone and finding out that she had a hidden camera on her and her parents and 6 other family members watching the whole time. I'm like, nah, that noise. Yeah, that sounds really uncomfortable. I always hate when you get a phone call and it's like, this call may be monitored. And I'm like, I don't want it to be. I would like to say no. I feel like every time I answer the phone now, I'm just gonna be like, this call may be monitored for memes. I was once told, sometimes the hourly workers go on strike and they lock us in to keep production line running, but management brings us steaks and we have an informal agreement with the unions so you can cross the picket lines once a week to visit your wife. The question was subtle red flags. That's horrible. What fuck job is that in? What industry? It was a Honeywell chemical plant. All right, never gonna work in a Honeywell chemical plant. Never even heard of that brand. I thought honey came from bees. Well, I guess not. And this is the part of the video where the sponsor usually goes, except today's video is sponsored by you, because thank you for subscribing and commenting, because your comments for this question are gonna be in a future community video, so thank you very much. Hashtag ad for you. When they insist the suicide nets are just a safety precaution. Yet again, subtle flags. Oh my God. Not getting to speak with who your direct manager will be. A game room or ping pong table is advertised as a perk. Excuse me, as someone who's worked at places with game rooms and ping pong tables, those are actually really good perks, okay? We would have lots of ping pong, lots of billiards, lots of snooker. The blatant overuse of buzzwords, about your profession, clearly written by someone with no clue. Most definitely. The more buzzwords, the more red flags. If they seem too relieved that someone actually showed up for the interview, oh, that makes me feel sad. Maybe they're just having a hard time finding someone to fill the job. I mean, if anything, you should be excited, like, oh, sweet, they really need me. I don't know. Maybe that's me being naive. When they feel the need to reassure you in the interview that at the company, they work hard, but also play hard. I've literally heard that like 3 times. They don't play hard. It's a sweatshop and they're trying to convince you it's anything but one. Yep. Anytime they say work hard, play hard, it is just working hard. There was no playing at any of the jobs that ever said that. It's that startup life. Who's messaging me? A match on Bumble. Leave me alone, honey. Get it? Because Bumble's like a bee and bees make honey at the Honeywell plant factory. Just to add to the flame, I was an 18-year-old college student at the time, and they would schedule my work shift during my class time. My manager knew that I was not available at 4 p.m. That is blatant and horrible. So sure, that might not be during your interview, but yeah, that is incredibly disrespectful and just basically assuming like, oh, hey, yeah, you have to make time for this, regardless of if you're not available or not. It is now your job. It's basically managers that just assume that you will do everything you can to make them happy. Stop that. Stop. I went into an interview for a low-level admin position, and they made me put my cell phone in a bucket up front stating, no phones are allowed in the back. It reduces productivity. A big note from me as well. It's like they're treating you like you're some sort of child instead of an adult working an admin role. Like 100% huge red flag. I'm out of there. It's like how a lot of American grocery stores don't let you sit down on the job because that looks like you're not busy and the customer will be upset. No, I'm gonna be upset that you just have to stand for 8 hours a day next to a chair as a cashier. That's ridiculous. Because I was also told at one point I wasn't allowed to sit when I was working at a restaurant. I'm like, please, I've been on my feet running around for 8 hours. Let me have a sit. But no, don't forget, you're allowed to sit as long as you are smoking a cigarette. But if you don't like smoking cigarettes either, hit that subscribe button because that is what my channel is all about. Thank you guys for watching today's Reddit video. I do appreciate you sticking on by, especially because, hey, 3 of them in a row. Big stuff coming up in the future. But thank you for watching, and hopefully I will see you guys on the next one, A British vs. American. I'll see you then. Goodbye.